Hi everybody, let's try this again. This is Alison from Fanshawe Pioneer Village. Today I am here at Fanshawe School S.S. 19, which is the new school at Fanshawe Pioneer Village. This is our brick schoolhouse. It was built in 1871. It was originally located on the corner of Highbury Avenue and Fanshawe Park Road. It was moved to here in 1992 after a major fundraising campaign raised $25,000. This schoolhouse was built in 1871, which was the year that the School Act was put in place, which made it mandatory for children to. It was really important for them to build a proper house so that all the children could fit. This schoolhouse was purchased or built with the support of Samuel Perkins. He lobbied the school trustees and they gave him $100 to purchase the land on the plot of a gentleman named Caesar's property, and they were able to build a school. Now this school was used until 1955, so it lasted a very, very long time, and we still get people who remember it at its original location. So as I mentioned, it was moved here in 1992, so not too long ago, and it was very, very close. So it's only 4 kilometers away from where the Pioneer Village sits now. Now, in 1871, when children would be going to a school like this, we'll go inside in a second, they were focusing on things like reading, writing, arithmetic, composition, oral speaking, but that's not what the School Act actually wanted people to be focusing on. They wanted them to be learning things like history, geography, Christian morals, which was the fact that Canada at that point was a colony of Britain. And so that's what they were focusing on at that point. But soon after that, things like agriculture, bookkeeping, mechanical arts, those were all added to the curriculum. So it became a lot more practical. Originally, in a schoolhouse like this, all of the grades would have been together. But as time went on, a lot of schools would get 2 teachers instead of 1, and then you would split up the grades. So the younger students would have 1 teacher and the older students would have another teacher. So that was more towards the end of the life of this schoolhouse. Now I want to go inside and show you a couple of things. So let's flip this camera on around. So here we go. Let's hope that when we go back up here today, this time it won't knock off our internet. So here we have outside of our walls on the building, you'll see things like graffiti, which are actually not all the time from students who went to this school originally, and we used the lettering that they etched into the walls in order to create a special font for a large fundraising campaign we did for our Spree Family Visitor Center. So those were actually used as the basis of that. When we go on inside here, see we have a nice wood fireplace. The wood fireplace was the only real way of heating this building until after 1931. It was still the only way, and then it wasn't until the 40s that any other type of heating was really installed. So this schoolhouse got very, very smoky originally, and there's lots of notes of students complaining about the fact that they had to spend all day essentially stoking the fire in the cold months in order to make sure that it was warm enough in here for their class. I mentioned that it wasn't until 1955 that this schoolhouse was replaced. At that point, a new schoolhouse was being built, but it wasn't quite ready yet at the beginning of this school year, so they decided to divide this class in half. So let's flip this back around here. They divided this class in half, and Ada Woods taught grades 1 to 4 on one side, and Lloyd Flanagan taught grades 5 to 8 on the other side of the classroom. So there were 2 classes going on at the same time. Now, when you would do things like that, you would have had a lot of competing voices. It could have been very difficult, but it was one of the ways that people used schoolhouses like this into the later periods. Now, at Fanshawe School, one of the really important reasons of why we have it, besides the fact that it was located so close to the Pioneer Village, is that it is actually one of the sole remaining buildings of Fanshawe Hamlet, which was originally at that corner of Highbury and Fanshawe Park Road, so very close to here. It was one of the settlements that we used as a basis for starting the Pioneer Village, as sort of the idea of where we were coming from when the village was started in the 1959, early 1960s. So here we have our school. This was one of the very last buildings from that hamlet, so it's very, very near and dear to us. It also is a really great reminder of how school has changed over the years. And one of the things that is the most popular of our activities to do at the Pioneer Village is actually hosting 1871 school lessons from this building. A lot of the time, folks, when they come, they are restricted to seeing the village school from the back of the class. Today, let's give you a view of what your teacher would have seen. As you can see, this building, like all others, is shut down for the winter, but Queen Victoria and Sir John A. Macdonald still reign in this classroom with our Union flag. So this is what your teacher would see, obviously without the fire extinguisher at the back. That is for modern safety reasons. Could you imagine in this class and all of the youngest students up at the very front? As you learned, you start to progress towards the back, and you hoped that one day you would graduate with your grade 8 certificate. I hope everybody is having a fantastic day today. Try to stay warm. It is very chilly in these buildings, so I apologize for wearing my jacket, but I hope everyone has a lovely afternoon and that we get to see some sunshine again in the next couple of days. Have a great day.